What's going on, everyone? Sam Clymer here with Lake Pro Tackle. Guys, today's video is going to be about buzz baits, why you should throw them in the fall time. Guys, fall transition's right around the corner for us down south here, and I'm sure most of you up north are starting to get some cooler weather as well. Water's fixing to turn over here pretty soon, so guys, let's talk about some buzz baits. Guys, I want to make sure you know about our awesome program that we do. It's our Lake Pro program, where you can find current lake reports on lakes near you online at lakeprotackle.com. So head over there, you can find current lake reports. Right now we've got a bunch of lakes here in Texas and we're looking to expand. So if you have someone that might fit the bill, guys, send them our way or have them go to lakeprotackle.com and apply online to become a Lake Pro. You can get discounts off rods, reels, and tackles. So go check it out, lakeprotackle.com, guys. All right, guys, so let's hop into the buzz baits, kind of what makes a buzz bait. Now, simply on the surface, a buzz bait is gonna have a metal prop here. Now it can have one blade, two blades, three blades, you know, it can mix those. It can have a clacker, like something like this Booyah, and we'll go ahead and get into kind of all those strengths and stuff, but the buzz bait itself, it's gonna have a blade that spins as you reel it across the surface, and it's gonna have a wire connected to your jig head, which has the hook on it. Now, you see this one has a trailer, no skirt. These guys have skirts here, so they come in, again, in so many different shapes, sizes, weights. It's basically like a, let's call it a more finesse whopper plopper. So basically what a buzz bait is trying to imitate is a shad, a bait fish, something running across the surface of the water, trying to get away from fish. Now, I love fishing buzz baits in water that has a lot of cover. So if you're fishing flooded buckbrush, you find a lot of people throwing it in that submerged vegetation. So something near the surface, right under that, you can fish it right on top of it, and those fish can come out of the vegetation and hit it. You can get them in open water, but the buzzbait really shines when you're fishing around cover. It's pretty weedless, so it doesn't have treble hooks like a popper, a whopper plopper, or something of that nature. So you can really fish this around vegetation and not get hung up too much. So as I was saying earlier, there are a bunch of different types of blades for the buzzbaits. These guys right here, just your traditional buzzbaits where it has just the two sides to the prop. Now there are some that have 3, even 4 sides to the prop. So you take this and basically double it on itself, and there's 4 of them. And there are some buzzbaits that actually have 2 wires. So 2 of these going at once with 1 bait in the middle. And when you do that, you're really just trying to imitate more and more bait fish. You know, it's gonna put off a lot more vibration and commotion in the water. And on that note, on the vibration and commotion, this is just your standard one right here. This is a Strike King buzzbait. It's gonna have that single prop with, we're gonna call it 2 sides, has 2 sides on it, and that's just gonna be your standard buzzbait. Now, you can take something like this Booyah here. This Booyah one does a great job in creating a little bit more noise. It actually has a little clacker right in front of the blade. So when that blade spins, it hits that clacker and makes a little bit deeper pitch noise. Now, really good buzzbaits are characterized by a couple different things, and it's gonna be usually the gauge of wire that they use. So how heavy of a fish can you really set that hook into or wrench him out of cover and stuff. So the wire size is always a good thing to note. The weight is also really good to note as well. So how far can you throw this thing? How slow can you reel it in the water without it keeling to one side? Another great thing is a Squeaky Buzzbait. If you haven't thrown a buzzbait yet, this might be something new to you, but when you take your buzzbait and run it across the water, is it giving you a squeaky sound? I personally love really squeaky buzzbaits, and that is made by the back of the buzzbait here. It's got a little, it looks like the back of a rivet, the top of a rivet here, and as that blade pushes up against that, it creates a squeaking noise. The metal on metal creates that noise, and I personally really love that noise when I'm fishing in the fall time. It's just one of those sounds that the bass don't hear a lot. And when you are fishing for bass, you know, they're very curious creatures. If it's a different noise going in the water, they want to check it out. It really gets their fish instincts, their hunting instincts involved in trying to chase this bait down. Now, I have found there are a bunch of different techniques to throwing a buzzbait. You can always do a straight retrieve, a slight pause, pull it across the surface a little bit faster to get those strikes. Now, back onto this guy here with the clacker, you know, the different size blades have a lot to do with the buzzing action that it has on the water. So the bigger blades are gonna have more a deep tone to them, and then the smaller blades are usually gonna have a more choppier tone. And that it really just depends on your conditions that you're fishing. So let's say I'm fishing some cloudy conditions. I personally really like to have a bigger thumping, thumping, chopping noise. So I'd go with either this Strike King or this War Eagle, which don't have a clacker on it. You know, if I need to, I will add the clacker if it is really sunny out and, you know, that early morning and I want to make a lot of noise, I can do that as well. So usually, you know, if it's overcast, I'm throwing one without that clacker, and if it's high skies in that morning time, I will throw one with a clacker just to create a little more commotion in the water. Now, this is to say, this is just how I fish them. You might find on your body of water that it's something different, and, you know, they come in a bunch of different colors, guys. You know, this one's black here. They make chartreuse ones, they make white ones. So really just match it up to whatever conditions you're fishing that day. So if it's sunny, I really like to have a white buzzbait or a brighter buzzbait. And if it's overcast, that chartreuse or black silhouette is always good as well. Now you will find again that different buzzbaits are fished differently. Some of them have skirts, some of them don't have skirts. This War Eagle one here, I'm sure you can put a skirt on it, but a lot of the time if you are fishing heavier vegetation or you want a more natural profile, so this one has a toad on the back of it, it's really good to have no skirt on it, because if you do have a skirt with the toad, you know, that skirt's gonna mess up the toad's action and it's not gonna be just that toad profile. Now, sometimes, a lot of the time, if it's really tough conditions, I won't even put a trailer on. A lot of the times the skirts that come with these buzzbaits actually are good enough. The Strike King one isn't a great example of it. It doesn't have a middle section to the skirt. A lot of the times, this Booyah one doesn't either. A lot of the times with really good buzzbaits and their skirts is that it has this outer layer here that the Strike King one has, but it also has an inner layer that acts as a trailer. So it runs down basically the hook shank, and it's about ½ an inch to an inch longer than the actual main skirt here. So again, you can find them in all different shapes and sizes. These are a couple of the ones we have at the store here, these War Eagle, Strike King, and Booyah. We've got a bunch of them actually, so you can go check them out at lakeprotackle.com and see all the different ones we have. We even have some of those multi-prop ones here in shop, as well as the 3 and 4 sided props as well. So go check those out. I'm gonna put these down here. I'm getting tired of holding them. Now, when I do fish a buzzbait and I do bring it out in the springtime, I'll bring it out in the summertime. It's personally one of my favorite topwater baits to throw, and you can fish them a lot of different ways. Like I said earlier, you know, just straight retrieve is always good. It's a good consistent bite. If you're looking to upgrade how you throw your buzzbaits, you know, you can get into the little twitches, you can get into popping it a little bit to create a little bit of a disturbance in that cadence. You know, fish are always trying to react to different things. They want to hunt something, you know, that's either injured. So, you know, the buzzbait, you can always imitate injured shad by popping it or doing something a little more erratic with it. So really, it's just up to you on how you want to fish it, and you can fish it a bunch of different ways. Now, you don't have to have one set trailer on your buzzbait. You know, toads are always good, frogs, you know, something of that nature. Usually that kick and tail will put off a little bit of an extra bubble on there, and it creates a little subtler action for those fish. You know, I've also put on swim baits. It's a great way to get a smaller profile, more slick profile that you can skip under places or get in tight little corners. You know, I've even put craws on a buzzbait just because it really just imitates the flapping motion. But that's really it. You know, the fish aren't getting a great view of this most of the time. A lot of the time they're not chasing it super hard. So when you are reeling it next to cover, and that's why I do preach to reel it next to cover, is that it really just seems like a wounded bait fish in that area put right above that fish. You know, if you're fishing a piece of buckbrush and you cast it up there, that fish is gonna be hearing it, you know, that buzz, the prop's going, it's creating a lot of buzz, a lot of commotion. So it's really a reaction bite. It's not much of a hunger bite. So if you are around schooling fish or around fish that are locked on cover pretty good, the buzzbait is a great way to get bit. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.